Welcome to another episode of Behind the Business presented by Gore Mutual. I'm your host, Ian McLean, President and CEO of the Greater Kitchener-Waterloo Chamber of Commerce. This podcast is recorded on the traditional territory of the Neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee peoples. Each week I sit down for candid conversations where we go beyond the boardroom and behind the business to uncover the real stories of Waterloo Region's business community. Today on Behind the Business, we're joined by Ronjiny Basu, co-founder of Puddles Swim School in Kitchener. Ronjiny traded a traditional corporate path for entrepreneurship, creating a swim school, a sensory-friendly, high-trust swim program focused on building water confidence and safety for kids. We'll hear why she made the leap, how she designed Puddles' small class and heated saltwater program, and how she's building a team and culture families can trust. We'll also explore her connection to the Waterloo Region community and the leadership choices that keep her business running safely and successfully. So join me as we go behind the business with Ronjiny Basu. Well, we're excited to have you here, Ronjiny. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So let's start with the story. I mean, this podcast is always about the stories and the people behind the business. But also about leadership journey. So we kind of intermix those things in all of our conversations. But let's start with your story. You have an MBA and years of experience in program management and marketing. But what was the moment that convinced you to break out on your own and start a swim school instead of following the more traditional path? If you get an MBA, usually people say, I'm going to go and work for a big company and get into the corporate mill. How did you go from what probably looked like that was the path to a swim school?
Well, Ian, you hit it on the nail. Post my MBA, I did follow that conventional route of joining the corporate world, but I think there was always that itch post an MBA to be an entrepreneur, and I just needed that push to manifest and make it a reality. So, you have an idea. I was sitting on it, and my business partner, and my husband, he and my friends was a guiding kind of force for me. And I said, it's either now or never. And I said, just do it. And I applied my years of experience in the corporate world, coupled with the passion, what I've learned in MBA schools, and just went ahead and did it. And I saw a problem in swim schools. Aquatic education is lacking, it's limited, but there's a high demand for it. So I thought that would be a great area to invest in and to really, apply my background to.
So it is kind of, swim schools are, swimming pools generally in northern climate they're expensive to maintain. So how do you manage to get the pool time? I mean, that's got to be one of the main issues of making sure you've got the access to the facility that you need.
Absolutely. So we just said let's just build our own facility. We went through a lot of fun challenges of the traditional route again. Wanted to we explored franchising, so we did go through 2 different franchises, and it didn't work out. And then everything happens for a reason. We said, let's just start our own brand. And I think that was a fun challenge when you're building not only a business and opening, when you're building a brand too, and you need to sustain it. So that was all part of the journey. And we created an above ground pool, something very unique, and just launched it.
No. Okay, and so, as you think back on what was the single skill or lesson from your MBA and prior roles that have had the biggest impact on either the formulation and the success in helping you run Puddles? That's the name of your company, Puddles.
Correct. I love that question because I'm all about connecting with people. I love learning about a person, their background, and the culture and community. And something that resonated with me during my business days is we would read a lot of Harvard Business Review and cases. There's a concept, you hear about business to business or business to consumer, B2B or B2C. There's something called H to H. So it's human to human or heart to heart. And at the end of the day, it talks about emotional intelligence and the genuine power of when you empower people and how that leads to retention, success, higher performance, and just a stronger business overall. So really, again, the human-to-human connection, that element, that is something that I lead with and I apply in most of my facets in running the business.
So what specific problem? So you said you came up with the idea, you wanted to apply your MBA, the training you got there. What was the specific problem that you saw in swimming education that you wanted to fix? And what makes the approach to the way you do it teaching differently from other swim programs? Because some of us would have gone to the YMCA back in the day to learn how to swim. There are different. There's swim clubs like Row and others. There's all level of things in here. What's the specific thing in swimming that you wanted to fix?
Great question. So, being a parent, I saw with the rapidly changing demographics, especially in the Waterloo region, there is a high demand for swimming. It's a life-saving sport, but there is a low supply. So community centers, there are so many, but they are limited. And the Waterloo region had no private swim school. So that was immediately like a light bulb just went off, like, hey, let's launch the first private swim school. Let's build that facility, bring water safety education to kids, but also to parents, because what's really important, and a lot of people don't realize, is swim safety education. It doesn't just apply to a swimming pool or even a lake. It can occur even in a bathtub. So it's all about prevention and educating people on that.
So it's swimming and the safety aspects of it, all of it together. Now, starting a new business in a new community is not simple at the best of times. Or it's not easy, certainly at any time, but it's not simple either when you're kind of dealing with all of the newness of not only the business but the community. But why Waterloo Region? What made this the right place to plant roots?
I think when my husband and I were doing research, we're in Mississauga, the GTA region, and it's quite saturated in terms of private swim schools. So Cambridge, Waterloo, Kitchener, there are no private swim school facilities. And we researched the changing demographics of young families that are moving in, and there is definitely a spike in the need.
Yeah.
And we said, let's go ahead and build a swim school. The community has been inviting, warm. It's a fabulous community, and we're here to help spread the word.
First into a marketplace is also a good place to be when you've got market need. You've spoken about working with local safety groups, and what is one specific partnership or program that you're pursuing or would like to pursue with public agencies or schools? Because I imagine there's got to be a crossover there. Like, as I mentioned, whether it's the YMCA or there are programs already in either swim lessons and swim safety. Schools, they used to. I don't know how much they have now, but schools, pulling those pieces together to make it the business operationally a viable and a success. How do you put all those pieces together?
Right. We are looking to explore partnership with elementary schools specifically. Myself and my aquatics director are looking to conduct in-school sessions on water safety, and we also will provide schools the option to opt into coming to our facility and host swim sessions, where the children can build and experience water safety. A few of our USPs include we are heated salt water, which is gentle on a child's skin and hair. It's a warm, shiver-free learning environment. So these factors help a child feel comfortable, and it's really about feeling confident and comfortable in the water before anything else. So those are definitely some critical partnerships we're looking to explore in the very near future.
Well, I think when you get to my age, you're back to being a baby. We're in a nice warm bath, and swimming is it's got to be the right temperature for you to get in. So it's important to make sure that people are comfortable in that environment. So, listen, given the rise in concerns, and we hear unfortunately, every summer you see, especially the summer, or in the spring when there's rivers and other things that are swollen. We hear all the concerns about drowning, and we see too many of those. What role do you see private swim schools like Puddles playing alongside the public service part, the public service announcements, and the public campaigns? How do you think the two fit together?
Very well. I think private swim schools like Puddles play an incredibly critical role in spreading the word. We are looking to involve ourselves in public outreach and campaigns and getting the messages out to families, to parents, to children, launching campaigns and outreach, basically campaigns across the board. We're here to educate from the very, starting with your child, get them into a water education, like aquatic system environment as early as possible. And for parents as well, there are a lot of adults who also may not know how to swim. So equipping them with the knowledge, but also the skills as well. Something we've also launched recently is we have now introduced adult swim lessons because due to a demand and something we did not, it was a pleasant surprise. So we are here to educate everyone, but our instructors are, we have various levels, every level covered. They are there to instruct children at different level, their backgrounds and their skill set. And it's a very important message just to help, as a prevention, drowning preventive campaign to run that.
The Behind the Business podcast is made possible through the support of our title sponsor, Gore Mutual. Proudly Canadian, Gore Mutual has stayed true to one purpose for more than 185 years, insurance that does good. It's the reason they exist. They believe that when we focus on being good, doing good, and spreading good, we all thrive together. We're grateful for their continued commitment to our local communities and the positive impact they make every day. For more information, visit goremutual.ca. You lead a passionate team, but a mission-driven team of trying to deliver on both the lessons, but also the safety part of it. How would you describe your leadership style? I mean, anyone that runs an organization like mine, a small business, large business, leaders need teams. So how do you describe your leadership style with your team, and how does it shape the culture at Puddles? And I mean, this is like, in traditional sense, command and control, or devolving. I mean, there's always different variations of how much control or how much leeway a leader gives to their team. How do you how would you assess your own style?
I love that question. It's all about Team Puddles and empowering them. We are blessed to have a fantastic team. I call it the A-team.
Yeah.
And I love that they are part of our journey. So when we brought in our instructors and our front desk staff, our customer experience team, they came into the facility right before our doors were opening. So they saw it from the construction, phase. Then they came back when we were opening the doors, and they were so excited. We have a Think Ideas box in our staff room, which is, we call it the Google staff room of our, it's fully stocked with pizza, everything that the young instructors would love. And they contribute with their ideas, because I tell them, this is your brand too. My partner and I may have built the infrastructure, but they're fueling, they're the heart and the soul of the brand. And I want to hear about their ideas. So they bring the great ideas. They contribute, they feel confident too, and we credit them. So it's really just a holistic team effort, and it's a beautiful experience. And I think at the end of the day, my biggest win is hearing our staff, our team members saying, I love coming into work. And it's all an open door policy, because literally I have my tiny desk in the staff room. So they come to me, they're like, hey, and it's.
Well, when you get staff that are invested in the success of a business, because you're the entrepreneur, you're the business owner, and it's not always easy to get your team to be as invested in the success of when it's not their part. We see that in the chamber and the not-for-profit is like we all feel a sense of ownership that we're to deliver for the members, and everyone feels an obligation to say, how can we do things better? And that's not an easy thing to do. So good for you to especially when you're dealing with some of your staff will be young, right? This will be their either
It's a
part
completely
time
different.
or it's their first in a career. That's a good experience for them to have. In safety critical businesses, delegation's tough. I mean, so you think of anything where you're dealing with transportation or food, or I mean, there's a whole bunch of safety things. Hard to delegate that when ultimately that you're responsible for the success and the safety of the whole organization and customers. How do you balance your hands-on oversight with empowering the instructors to make real-time safety calls? Like that's not something you can always say, well, we'll park that and come back to it. You're in the safety environment every moment that you've got someone in the pool.
Absolutely. It goes back to our A team. We start off with our fantastic aquatics director. Her name is Marina. She comes with 17 years of experience. We have a fabulous deck supervisor. His name is Sam. And there are different layers. And then we have our instructors, all equipped to make real-time safety decisions. We're covered at each layer. And at the end of the day, they come in motivated and very, I guess they have the autonomy. So, and that resonates with also the children in real-time decisions. So when they're happy, let's say the children are happy. If they're not anxious, it's calm. The children perform well. Parents are happy. And we're hearing that from parents on a daily basis. But ideally, having that expertise, and that's, with our rigorous interview process, we bring in a team that has that experience.
Pull on that a little bit. I mean, finding the right talent is not that can be a challenge, right? Getting the right fit, right? Talk about that. You called it a rigorous interview process. What does that look like? I mean, I think there's lots of business owners, people that are running businesses, big, large, and everything in between, that are always looking for what's the best way to get at the real parts that you want to know about someone before you hire them. I mean, what does it look like for you when you're doing those interviews?
For our instructors, it's about a 3 to 5 step process. Initially, starts off with the first interview with myself, and it was virtual because we were building the facility, and I just wanted to get kind of a personality assessment, just if they a personality check, the cultural kind of check with them, and we would transfer the next step. They'd move on to speaking with our aquatics director, Marina. Then she would invite them to come into the facility when it was built, and she would see how they are in the water with children of different ages. So it really is just a whole holistic kind of process. But I attribute a lot of it to Marina. She's amazing when it comes to selecting strong instructors. And of course, a lot of it is trial and error, but we've been very lucky to, attract a very strong team and retaining them. It's only been 2 months, but they're happy. And we're strong. We're close.
Well, and some of it, hiring is I would say, it's always a little bit of the feel. Like, what do I want to spend time with that person, or can I see them sort of fitting into the role? And then there's the expertise, like, do they have the skills and the practical part of actually being on the water or on the deck.
Of course. And of course, there are certifications that are required. So that is definitely the first check that we have to go.
If so, okay, so I mean, you've started, I wouldn't say passion project, I guess, but you came up with an idea, you took your MBA training, you said something would be, we want to take a kick at. If someone, there's lots of entrepreneurs who've got great ideas and they not quite pulling the hammer on it, because those are big, momentous decisions to take on the risk and to the uncertainty of starting something new. If someone is out there with a great idea, there's something they're passionate about, and they're sitting on this idea, what's the most practical piece of advice you'd give them to move from that concept to opening the door? Because I think there's a series of decisions you have to make. But what's the most practical piece of advice of how you get to the decision?
Right. You can sit on an idea, build a business plan, just think about it. But if you're not going to, if it's not going to manifest, it's about that. I think that transition moving forward. So share your idea, involve others, test it out. This will build momentum. And that's when it starts becoming more of a reality. And will build a confidence in you to move forward and take the next steps. Of course, share it within your close-knit networking and also external extended network. And every little step kind of moves forward towards manifesting.
Well, and I get that's actually helpful, is that it is in many cases, it's a whole series of smaller decisions that keep that build on one another. Interesting. Okay, well, we're almost out of time, but before we wrap up, as we always do, we get to our rapid fire questions. But before we do that, maybe just wrapping up, what's the long-term vision for Puddles? Like, are you thinking of expanding? You talked about franchising. Is it scaling in other ways? What is it? What's the vision? What's the plan for Puddles?
Well, my long-term vision and dream would definitely be to expand. We'd love to open up new locations, and again, targeting locations that don't have that have very limited private swim school accessibility. So I won't share too much, but we are looking at certain regions outside of GTA that have that need.
Well, I was hoping to break news here on the Behind the Business podcast, but you've kept a tight lip, so there you go. Okay, and this is the part where you've told the story of Puddles. You told a little bit about your approach to leadership, but here this rapid fire section is I ask the same series. It's always fascinating to see how leaders respond to these questions. So, if you could go back and tell your younger self something, what would it be?
Just do it. Take the next step. Take a thought and make it into reality. Just do not lead with fear. Lead with heart.
Well, and just do it. It's remarkable that fits in so many ways, not just for Nike, but for entrepreneurs. What or who inspires you most?
This may sound cliche, but my grandmother, she was a very self-driven woman, and she always had a very holistic perspective towards life paradigm. So she would look at the bigger picture rather than kind of micro vision. And I think she taught that to me, look at the big picture, and that really helps take a step back. When I'm assessing a problem.
If you weren't in your current career, so and I guess it comes back, you were an MBA, then you become an entrepreneur. But if you weren't doing those things, what do you think you'd be doing instead?
So the unrealistic dream would be playing in Wimbledon, but since that didn't materialize, I would launch an e-commerce venture.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Well, it sounds like you got all the experience, and you'll need some of that e-commerce, at least from on the sales and marketing side for the business you're going. So good for you. What are you reading? A book? Do you listen to podcasts? How do you kind of either let go and let your mind go, or how do you take in your new ideas? Is it a book you're reading or a podcast?
So definitely, I've invested in a few books that have, that would help me with this business. And having, being a mom of two kids, Self-Driven Child. It's all about empowering children, age-appropriate children, with decisions that help them to become leaders themselves. Something as small as, like my son, when he comes home from school, he's 8. He makes a smoothie for himself and his sister. Small tasks like that, they feel like they're leaders and that autonomy.
That's good. Do you have a favorite business or a restaurant or coffee shop or some sort of business that here in Waterloo Region that you're big on?
Oh, Waterloo Region, the business community is so warm, heartwarming, and close. Since we've launched, our neighbors in our plaza, they are fabulous. One of them, I have to do a shout out, Esta Chocolates.
Oh,
I've
yes,
heard they're one of the
yes.
finest. We are lucky to be neighbors with them. They sponsored our goodie bags for our grand opening.
Yeah.
Cafe du Monde, we had their crepes at a grand opening, and Cafe O, they're down the street, a small family run business, but I'm just befriending all the delicious businesses.
Well, that's a good thing, and Esta has been a good partner of ours as well over the years. So, just as we wrap up, what's the best place for listeners to either connect with you or learn more about your work?
Absolutely. I mean, definitely welcome to visit our website, puddleswim.com with 2 S's. My email, Ronjiny, Ronjiny, puddleswim.com. But more importantly, we'd love for you to just come by, visit us. We are down the street at 1381 Victoria Street North, and I would love to give you a tour of the facility.
Yeah, I'll look forward to doing that because I think
Please do.
it's a fascinating thing. Listen, one of the most valuable commodities that anyone in business has is time, and certainly if you're a small business owner and an entrepreneur, time is most certainly the most precious thing you have. So thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Behind the Business, proudly presented by Gore Mutual, insurance that does good. New episodes drop every Thursday, so be sure to tune in next week. You can also visit greaterkwchamber.com to catch up on past episodes anytime. We'll see you next time as we continue to go Behind the Business.